anyone right now have any questions? If not, we can just jump right in. So this right here, it's called main focus, but this is really just my watch list that I watch. It has about 10 or 11 stocks on here, and it has the main indices, so SPY, QQQ, IWM. It has some ETFs, silver and gold, VXX, and then it has a few of the main stocks that I like watching. And the reason I chose these stocks and I watch them like on a week-to-week basis is just because of how liquid they are. They're super liquid. There's always a ton of volume, and I generally know how they move. I've been watching these stocks for months, so I have a pretty good understanding of them. And basically my plan each week, I usually go around Sunday night. I'll hop on and I will chart out my technicals for each stock. It takes about like 45 minutes to an hour usually. But that's usually what I do, and I can go over them right now. It's a little messy, so once I do that, during the week, each morning I'll wake up an hour and a half or so before market opens, and I'll hop on, and then I'll re-chart them for the new day. But I won't like take out, because I usually do the major levels over the weekend, and then if I see any like intraday levels that form during the week, I'll wake up in the morning the following day and chart them. So I could go over my indicators really quick. So I don't use too many indicators. I have a volume chart right here, and this is actually different on thinkorswim than the volume that it comes with. If I could go here, I could pull up the volume. This is the volume, if you're on thinkorswim, you may be familiar with. But I remove this here, right there, and I go to edit study and I add a volume average. And it's not only does it show the color of the candle, so if it's a red or green candle, but it has an average, like a 50-day average line for the volume to show if there's above or below average volume. And this can tell you a lot of things. For example, if there's a low of day break and there's high volume, that could signify that a reversal is coming, just because there's a lot of people that are buying it, as well as sellers. There's people selling, but there's a lot of buyers matching that volume. So when you see a breakthrough low of day, or a breakthrough high of day and there's a lot of volume, a lot of people may think that's continuation, but that can be a sign that there's a reversal coming, just because for every buyer there needs to be a seller, and every seller there needs to be a buyer. So there will be a lot of volume there, usually, and that could signify signs of reversals. On the flip side, if there is a continuation and volume is relatively low and calm, that can signify that a continuation is happening and that a stock will continue to go in either direction. So that's what I look for in volume. The second thing I have is ATR, which is average true range. So this basically lets you know like the average move of a stock in a given time frame. So for example, we'll pull up the S&P 500 or SPY. So SPY on average moves 4.28 points in a single day. That's its average move. In a week, it will move 14 points, and you would just say like in 5 minutes if you're looking at a shorter time frame, and it moves a lot, but it's usually 0.3 points. Now, as you can see, this has moved significantly over the past half of a year or so. It used to be relatively calm, used to move on average 2 or so points a day. Then we had the huge drop in March, where it was moving at a high of around 14 to 15 points a day, and now it's gone back down a bit. It's not back down to where it was before, but it's down to about 4 or so points a day. So it shows that it's relatively calm. And I usually look at this just as a guide to see how much a stock could continue moving in a given day. And it's not like anything certain, like you don't want it to, like if you see a stock moved 5 points, has like an ATR of like 4, and it's moved 5 points in a day, and you're like, all right, I don't want to enter this. Like, you don't want to use it as a complete guide, but just to give you an idea of how much more it could move. And a lot of times with swing trading, I'll look at the weekly ATR to set sort of price targets, either for a price target high or price target low. So going into maybe next week on a Sunday, I'll look at this and see SPY moves 14 points in a week. So I'll set like 2 price levels, and I'll say, all right, 337, and then I'll make this one like 351, just as a price target high, 14 points higher than 337. So that's for the ATR. And then
Brandon?
what's up? Yo, what's up? Did somebody say my name?
I don't think so, bro.
Oh no, okay. I thought I heard somebody say Brandon. Alright, alright. Then the last one is implied volatility, which this is used just as a gauge on like looking at the buying options, because as we know, when implied volatility goes up, option premium goes up as well. When implied volatility goes down, option premium goes down, and a general rule is you don't want to buy options when implied volatility is high, and it's better to buy them when it's low. So if you remember back in March, for the people that were playing when you were entering option trades, there were times where it's like the stock can move in your favor heavily and your option contract would barely go up. But if the stock goes against you, maybe like a few cents to like $1, just a small amount, your contract would lose like half of its value really quickly. This made it very hard to play options, and that was because volatility was at like not all-time highs. I don't think it was at all-time highs, but it was at highs that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. And this just shows the volatility for the S&P 500. You can look at volatility for either any stocks, and you can see that volatility goes up around earnings. Lyft is not a very good example, but if you look at stocks like that were reported around earnings, you'll see that volatility goes up, and that's what makes playing spreads good. Just because when you sell premium, you want volatility to go down, and volatility goes down after a stock reports their earnings, and that's because the expected move already happened. So I just keep this as a gauge. I look at it before entering a trade to buy options. I just want to make sure that volatility is on the lower side of the trade or of the stock, and vice versa. If I'm selling like credit spreads or iron condors, I know there's a few members that love playing those. I always look for volatility or for stocks that have high volatility. As you can see, Costco right here, or not Costco, Cisco, yeah. Volatility right here, it dropped end of day, and this was just because they reported earnings today. They dropped a lot, I guess. But they dropped a lot, I guess.
Huh?
Yeah.
Dude, those calls are gonna get destroyed tomorrow.
Staying antunnadu. Your mom is a gem man.
Oh.
Never.
But yeah,
Yo, what's good, man?
what was that?
What's good, bro?
What's up, Kev? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're doing a great job, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. You got any questions?
I'll think about some.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let me know if you got
Alright.
any questions.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Don't you show how you made your demand zones like you did on the previous ones? I'm sure it might be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of different ways to do it.
No, yeah, of course. Let me find a good example. All right, I'll show Facebook. So let me create drawing set. So supply and demand zones, it's basically where there has been an agreement on price. There's a balanced area on a chart, so there's consolidation, which after the consolidation leads to a big move either to the upside or downside. So in simplest terms, it's a balanced area, prices agreed upon by both buyers and sellers, and then there's a very large imbalance in price either to the upside or downside, which causes a significant move. And these are either caused by smart money investors, so hedge funds, institutional investors, banks, or just a lot of investors or traders are like agreeing on one way or another, which causes a lot of orders to come in on one side of the trade, which causes an imbalance in price. So usually when these imbalances occur, there are leftover unfilled orders sitting in these zones, and what happens is that, especially from smart money, when they place their orders to fill on stocks, say like a hedge fund or an institutional investor or banks, they place an order. They're usually large enough where they don't get filled right away. They partially get filled because there's just not enough liquidity on the other side of the trade, and they leave these orders sitting in these areas and they wait for price to pull back to them to get filled. What happens is they have all of these unfilled orders sitting around these prices, around this zone. So once price pulls back to them or pushes up to them, depending if it's a supply or demand zone, these unfilled orders will then get filled again, causing another reversal to happen in the opposite direction. And when you think of the market, you have to think psychologically, because that's really what it is. It's just a bunch of like traders and investors. They're like agreeing and they're thinking psychological. So when they see the reversal happen after all of these orders get filled, that's when other traders start hopping on that side of the trade, which continues the price to move in that direction. So how you draw them is you want to see a basing area, so kind of just like a consolidation on any time frame, and then a significant move in either direction. So for example, right here, this would be considered a daily demand zone because there's basing here, small red candle, which then has a very large green candle going up. So I would draw it from the low. The demand zone would be at the lower wick, and this would also be my stop loss. And then the top would be the top of the basing candle where it closed. And you can go on smaller time frames like here as well, and you can see them. And then this would be considered the demand zone. I would then go here, and then I would place this, and then you could edit this to say like, oops, 1 day demand zone. And usually supply and demand zones, they act almost as magnets. You'll see price ends up pulling back to these zones, and that's where retail traders, they would chase them, and then that's where the institutional investors and smart money, they'll get filled, and then that's where price ends up reversing. So again, you'll look for a basing period, which then leads to a more significant move. You can say, for example, right here, this would be a smaller one. This would be a 30-minute supply zone. So you can use this as intraday. There are two basing candles, which then leads to a significant move, a 6-point move down on Facebook. And then you would draw this to the top of the wick up here, just like that. And then you could change this to red. So that's how I'll end up drawing them, like that. And I look through all of these charts. There's one, and then when you're looking at these are zones, and you always want to wait for confirmation before entering any trades. And this is a great example here because there was one setup here on AMD this morning that I was looking at, and AMD just ended up shooting up, and there is no sign. Actually, there was a sign at the beginning. There was a signal, but I usually wait at least 15 minutes before entering any trades, and this is exactly why. AMD shot up, it dropped back down, so rejected it once, but then it ended up, but this was like within 15 minutes of market open, so I usually don't trade because volatility is pretty significant the first 15 or so minutes. So I waited, and then AMD ended up pushing through. So you always want to wait for confirmation beforehand. But this would be another zone coming up on AMD. Right up here, again, there's a basing period which led to a significant candle down, which can signify that there can be unfilled orders sitting in this area up here. So yeah, that's really, does anybody have any questions about those?
That was good. Why don't you run through one of your like a recent play that you had, and just like show what you saw and what made you pick that price, or what made you pick that specific play?
Of course. So I could actually pull up my trading journal. Are you guys able to see this? I think I need to switch the screens.
Yeah, we usually probably lock on the TD or Thinkorswim unless you like change the screen.
Yeah. Is there? Let me start this up again. There you go. Are you guys able to see it? Is it working or no?
It's what the
Is it not working? No.
it's like an all white screen, and then it like goes to just the top part of the Excel
Oh
form.
yeah, it's bugging out. Huh.
Like where you only can. Yeah, it's being weird.
All right. Let me see if I could.
That's all right.
All right, it's all right. I could yeah, I could pull up a few of my trades though. Let me go back to this. All right. Are you guys able to see the Thinkorswim now? Oh, oops. Right. Is the Thinkorswim screen working now? Right?
Yep, it's working.
All right. Dope. So, yeah, we can go over a few. So I took 2 trades. I just took 2 quick day trades in Boeing today. And this is actually kind of my day trading screen right here. So I deleted this, but there was previously a demand zone sitting over here, and just when price breaks through, I end up deleting them. So earlier today, Boeing dumped down. I know a lot of people were wondering why Boeing was dumping today, and honestly, just like a lot of things, like I feel like the main mover, like the main reason the market moves the way it has been is just all rotational lately. We've seen a lot of rotations, and yesterday, the past 2 days actually, we saw Boeing do pretty well, and it was really just all rotational. There was rotation out of tech in more growth stocks, and it was into more risk on stocks, basically more risk on companies such as finance and travel. So that's the reasoning why Boeing did really well, and the reasoning it dumped is just because, again, I saw another rotation, in my opinion, into tech again. That's why you saw the Nasdaq and QQQ, they did really well. They were both up over 2%, and you can really tell, just a quick tip, you can tell when there's a rotation by comparing the QQQ to the IWM, which is the small cap stocks. They're very different from each other, and usually on more risk on days, you'll see IWM leading and QQQ lagging, and that's what was happening yesterday. But then on a day like today, you'll see QQQ leading and then IWM lagging. So you can sort of tell when a rotation's coming when you see an indice leading for a few days, and then it starts lagging for a few days. So that's how you can tell there's a rotation. So just quick tip on that. But I saw Boeing dumping. There was a demand zone, so I entered a trade. I think I grabbed 2 contracts, and then I saw that there was this upper trend line forming, so I ended up drawing this in here. There was some resistance forming at the top. I ended up exiting my trades once I saw it break below this trend line, and it took a small gain. It was about like a 15 or 20% gain on this trade, and it was August 21st contracts, and I'm glad I took it because then Boeing ended up dumping. But then it came down to this other demand zone that formed yesterday right over here, which I looked and I entered calls in again, which I then, and I think I marked, yeah, I entered calls right here. I sold one after there was a large move up. I usually like selling into strength. So there was a large candle, so I scaled out one here. We came up, we rejected this demand zone once. I waited for the second 5-minute candle to confirm it, and then I sold out here for a small gain again. Boeing then ended up rallying the rest of the day, then selling off. So that's the trade I took today. On the other side, I also took a trade on Facebook. That was a small loss. There was, again, I deleted it just because I delete them once they break through, but I could draw this back in really quick. There was a 30-minute supply zone here. And the market opened, and I was waiting, and again, I don't enter trades unless there's 15 minutes and of the market being open. And I saw that Facebook rallied into this supply zone, and then there was this large lower wick, signifying that sellers were stepping up and being aggressive. There was then another candle which signified a larger wick. So I said you want to wait for confirmation. So there are two larger wicks, and then this candle actually opened red. That's why this lower wick is here. So it looked really bearish to me. We were in the supply zone. There were two upper wicks, and then there was a red candle. So I entered a trade here and then ended up totally reversing, coming up, and then I stopped out like a few minutes later for, I think it was only like a $10 loss, so I was fine with it. And it just goes with the whole concept of you want to keep your winners bigger than your losses. You want to keep your losses small, and you want to let your winners run as far as possible, even if that means, putting a stop loss at break even and letting it run, or putting a 10% trailing stop loss. You just want to let your winners run as long as possible if you can, but at the same time you want to cut your losers short, and you want to know when to cut your losing trade. So this was an example where I cut my losing trade. And then going back to Boeing, where I scaled out, that's just a strategy I use where I sell one and then I tried letting my other one run. In theory, I could have let this one run further, but I saw that it rejected the supply zone, so I ended up selling. Any questions about it?
Hi, Brandon.
What's up? Wait, who is this talking?
It's Kevin.
Kevin? What's up,
Hi,
Kevin?
Brandon.
Hi.
Hi, Brandon.
Oh boy. What's up, boys?
We chilling.
Yeah, you chilling? How was your appointment?
It was good. I just got done. It was super quick.
Alright, that's good. You got
I
a
gotta
question
drive.
for me, Kevin?
What? Wait, how long is this going until?
I mean, what do you think, Simon or Vando?
Just kind of like. I don't know,
Yeah,
just kind of it ends. It's not
I
really
just
like-
left. I had an
We don't really
appointment.
have it.
I'm
I
in
know
the.
Simon is gonna do his Q&A, but it sounds like he's in his car.
I'm in the car right now.
Then I'm gonna drive super fast, and I'll be back.
You whipping
But
the Porsche?
we are we're Brandon's recording it, so it will upload the full session. So
Oh,
if
sweet.
you want to like watch the beginning, or if you missed anything, and so you can watch it over and stuff.
Sweet. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, where
Alright,
can
no
we
problem.
find the video?
What's up?
Where can we find the video?
We're gonna post it on YouTube.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, we'll post the link and stuff once it's ready.
Sweet.
Alright, yeah, so any questions about supply and demand zones or anything else, any type of technicals?
Yeah.
You don't use
could
MACD
go
at
over,
What was that?
Fold God, you can go, man.
could you go over ATR just one more time?
Yeah, of course. So ATR is average true range. This is just a guide on how much a stock moves, like its average move in a day or the given time period you're on. So this is Boeing, for example. So right now it's showing that in a day, Boeing will move 8.5 points on average in a day. And as you can see, just from this, when we had the crazy drop in March, almost every stock, S&P, Apple, Microsoft, they all shot their average true range shot up. So like Microsoft, for example, went from moving only like 1 or so points a day, then shot up after earnings back in February to about 3 points. It then went up to around 10 or 11 points at the peak in March when we were dropping. So it's a guide that I look at to see how much a stock can move in a day, just its implied move and stuff to get an idea. And I look at it a lot when entering contracts for like the correct strike price, not because I don't enter strike prices with the expectation that they'll go in the money, but I want to make sure they're close enough to where it has a reasonable move, so they're about at least 5% out by the time I exit the trade from being in the money. So I always look at the ATR, usually on the weekly time frame, to be honest, just for setting price levels and stuff, like weekly highs and weekly lows that it can hit, and it's just a guide that I follow.
Oh, okay, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my bad.
I see the where on the bottom where it shows where each earnings was. What's the money symbol next to it? What's that represent?
Oh, right here. This is.
Yeah.
I think this is just to signify that it's like it's their earnings. Like this is just a little symbol. Oh no, this is dividends.
Oh, that's
Yeah, no,
those are
you're right.
dividends.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
right. It's dividends. My bad. And
Oh,
then
nice.
I think
Okay.
think Apple, it shows that they have a stock split coming up. Yeah, 4-1. And then this is earnings. So yeah, this Apple's been insane.
I like that feature. Apple has been insane, dude.
Nice.
That 500 call that Simon made is gonna be
Yeah, that's
a lot.
facts.
Might be quicker. Might be a little faster than he thought. Getting into the money.
Yeah, for sure. And what did that become like? I don't understand how that works after reverse split though. That become like a I don't even know. What even means 500? Does that become like a 125 call?
What's up?
The Simon's 500 call with the 4-1 split, does that become a 125 call?
Oh wow. I don't know.
I would assume
I don't know
that's
how
it
that
works.
was work. I was reading how the Tesla split is going to affect options traders, and that's kind of how it was. But I assume it's the same way. I didn't even think about that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure.
I think it adjusts to whatever it is, but I'm not sure because I've been through a reverse split with my options back with ACB, and it just adjusted. But the problem with that was that it was a reverse split, and my contracts lost like premium like crazy because I guess no one was buying them after the reverse split. But
yeah,
I think with Apple and Tesla, it's going to be a bit different.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla, and it makes me wonder because after Apple did it and Tesla's following, if other major companies are gonna start doing this because it's been working out really well for Apple. I'm sure Tesla's gonna continue to run up.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Probably lots of people want to buy them before the split.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you only use Thinkorswim?
Yeah, I do. I don't have E-Trade or really anything else. I mean,
Do you have a
Robinhood.
single account?
What was that?
Do you just use one account?
For Thinkorswim, I have
Yes,
I
sir.
have a long-term portfolio on a separate account. But yeah, just for trading, just one account.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
What's the commission on each trade that you? Or is there any fees?
Yeah. So options are 65 cents to open and 65 cents to close, but I talked to them and I negotiated it to 55 cents, which doesn't make a difference, really, but still.
Still $1 every 10 trades.
Yeah. So I think they're higher, or it's less than Tasty Works, I believe. Or Tasty.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think E-Trade right now, I think it's 50 cents for opening and closing, so it's about the same.
Okay. Yeah.
Brandon, do you ever trade on your phone with TOS?
I've done it once, just when I was out and I had to close a position, but I never really use TOS mobile, just to like check my account if I'm out, but I'll never like really open a trade on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I usually have alerts set, and then I'm on here on my computer, and then if I'm, running to grab food or something, I'd like run back down to my computer and enter the trade.
I've had to do that before.
Yeah. So.
Or it's like, shit, I gotta get this trade in. I see my entry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but I mean, yeah, that's really it. I mean, like.
You use MACD at all?
MACD? No, I really don't. I used it before. I just not really just with my style of trading. Stuff. Like RSI maybe I'd use a little bit, but like MACD and RSI just technicals, I'm not really a big fan of them, to be honest.
I like that ATR indicator. I'm gonna start using that more.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just as like a guide and stuff for like, especially when picking strike prices.
Oh yeah, see how much it can move in a day or what it typically moves. It gives you a good idea of like what's a attainable actual strike price.
Yeah.
My ATR is different on Webull. It's like all the indicators are different.
I've noticed that on different brokerages because I had Tasty Works. That the ATR is a little bit different, but I don't think it should be different by more than a point or so.
Nah,
Yeah, because a
mine
lot of
is-
Different time frames too, so you got to make sure you're on the same time frame.
yeah, the settings might be different. Also, it might be like it could be reading a different set. Like I know with like MACD and RSI, you can set it to different lines, and so that will skew how it looks depending on what your settings are for it. So it might be the same case with ATR.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I see.
And then
When you were
another-
on Boeing, were you on a daily?
Boeing? Yeah, let me pull up Boeing. Yeah, right now my Boeing ATR is 8.51.
Oh, okay. I was on a 5-minute. That's probably why. Well, mine is 7.6. But yeah.
It's about, yeah, I think, I just know maybe the calculations might be a little different on different brokerages.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it just gives you a general idea. Then I also keep a watch list of all of like the futures and ETFs and stuff. So in the morning, or like even at nighttime, I'll look at this just to give me an idea before market opens. So like / NQ, ES, YM, RTY, and VX. RTY is the IWM ETF or future. YM is the Dow future. ES is the S&P future. And NQ is the Nasdaq future. VX is the VIX future. So I have these pulled up.
So
Yeah,
the first 30 minutes before the market opens, what are you looking at?
That's usually when I'm charting for the day. So I'll look at it and I'll chart new things either from pre-market. Like right now my chart's kind of messy, so if I was going into charting tomorrow, I'll remove these lines just like this. I'll keep this pulled up. Probably remove this. And I mean, Boeing's already set, and most of these are already set because I'll just have them play off of other lines. But Apple, I'll go in like a 4-hour chart when charting. I'll start with a 4-hour, then work my way down. Move to a 1 hour. Don't see anything. 30-minute. And then you can see right here, this isn't something I would chart, but this is just an example just because it's so close to a supply zone, that there was demand zone that formed here. Now if there wasn't a supply zone up literally like a half a point above, then I would look to maybe play off of this as a day trade going into tomorrow. But since there's a supply zone right here, it's just not something I'd be looking at. And when looking for these zones, you usually want to find fresh zones, so zones that aren't tested. So in reality, I was saying this in chat that Apple was testing this supply zone and that it was making a move down, but I wouldn't take puts here just because the zone was tested once, twice, and 3 times pre-market. The more times the zone is tested, the weaker they get, simply because more and more unfilled orders are getting filled. Eventually the zone will get tested and there will be no more unfilled orders. All of the sell orders will get filled, which means it's going to eventually break through. So that's just why I didn't take them. You want to look for fresh zones. So you can say, if you go out here, this right here, this is a fresh zone, this 1 hour demand at 412. So this would be a zone. I have an alert set here. Say Apple ended up dropping about 40 points for whatever reason. This would be a zone that I would look to take a swing trade off of. And you can set your stop loss at the bottom of this at like 407, and that's risking 5 points to potentially make, you could say that this next level of resistance up here, which is like over, it's like 26 points. So that's basically what I'm looking at. I'm just charting new technicals going into the day. I'm looking at news. I have on Thinkorswim, you have a live news section where you can look at news that's coming out on specific stocks. So I'll just briefly read over this. And that's really about it for the morning.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brandon. You did a great job.
No, yeah, of course. Thank you. Any other questions from anybody?
What do you think's gonna happen to Tesla tomorrow? I didn't throw that.
And he just giggles.
I'm holding one too. Fuck this.
Oh,
You guys
I
are
have
balls.
Tesla calls.
What's your data-
all
what's your
right.
data like on that thing?
Yeah, for sure, for real. Like, you guys, did you get weeklies?
821, 1800.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You degenerate. But honestly, it might hit knowing with Tesla, dude. It can.
It's 80% right now. I said fuck it.
Jesus
We're holding
my-
I think it's
tomorrow.
up over 1,000% today. 1,500. This thing was at $1 yesterday. You could have got this for $100 yesterday. It hit a high of
Sickening.
2150.
Sickening.
Yeah. All right, Tesla. Honestly, like with a stock like this, after the news that came out, I would just throw technicals out the window. Tesla doesn't really tend to follow technicals that well, but I mean, it's at the top of its range right now, so there is some resistance at like 1550. As you can see, it tested it up here, but I think it can continue running like Apple did. I think it's gonna have a similar reaction to Apple. So Apple reported right here. Let me get this pulled up. Apple reported right here. They had a 1, 2, 3, 4. They had a 5-day rally before having their first red day. So I think Tesla can at least have another green day. I think it can test like 1650, at least 1680. I wouldn't be surprised if it made new all-time highs. I mean, it's just that a 5-to-1 stock split. So right now that means 1554. If it did it right now, Tesla would only be $310 a share. And for every share you buy, you're going to get 5. So I can see investors, especially retail traders, piling into these. So yes, I think it can continue up for the rest of the week.
Apple ran up a bit because of earnings too.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if Tesla can get affected the same.
Yeah. Apple did report good earnings. Any other questions about any stocks?
You looked into any crypto plays?
I was looking at crypto and actually a Bitcoin chart. So I was watching Bitcoin for a while just because, and I saw a ton of people talking about this. This is the weekly chart of how it had this heavy, this very long-term resistance trend line, and this upper trend, or this support trend line that it broke in March. And Bitcoin started pushing up once it broke out. So I think Bitcoin can continue. I know a lot of people are saying it as well. So I think Bitcoin can continue. I don't really know the other tickers. Yeah, I don't know the other ones. But I don't really play crypto, to be honest. But I would think longer term, Bitcoin is pretty safe. As in, like, I'm pretty bullish on it.
Yeah, I like the Mara plays. Cash the fuck out on that, but I don't know how to play it going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, crypto is very volatile too. You know, you've gotta be like, you gotta either be able to ride out the moves, or you just have to be able to take profits quick, I think. So, yeah, there's that. Any other questions?
I got one.
Yeah, what's up, Manny?
Is SPY hitting all-time highs tomorrow?
No, I think it's about to go down to 220. No, I think it will. I don't know about tomorrow. Yesterday kind of worried me. Like the amount of velocity in the drop, like, it went straight down.
Yeah.
And you always realize, and it just kind of always worries me, just when red days always have more volume than green days. Besides this day, and that's because there was a large lower wick, so it was originally a red day. But it's just something that I always keep in the back of my head, how these red days, they always have more volume than the green days. So, I mean, it's always been a thing too, so you can see back here. I think it does hit all-time highs. I mean, I think it kind of has to, right?
At this point,
We're 2 points away, either that or come down.
It'll be pretty disappointing.
Yeah. No, I think it does hit all-time highs. Maybe consolidates for a little bit. I mean, I guess nothing is out of the picture just because with how crazy the market is, but I'd be really surprised if we get past 350. Like, I cannot picture that. But I
Yeah, who
think,
knows, man?
yeah, no. I mean, I'm just out of like long-term plays, not something I'm looking at right now just because it's so uncertain. I think we may just consolidate until for like another month or so. Once we hit all-time highs, or we may just take it slow like this, and then maybe come down around election time later this year.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, no, of course. So that SPY QQQ has hit all-time highs. Hit all-time highs all the way back in June. IWM is still lagging, and something that I've actually noticed about IWM that I drew in here is that IWM is the only indice that didn't hit all-time highs back in March, right? Or back in February, sorry. It hit all-time highs back in 2018 and didn't hit them again. So I kind of drew in this other oval just to give like an idea, just like with the matching with the point difference of if it was to continue its trend of lower highs, it would be around here. So this is just something else you can watch for. There's nothing real. There's no like due diligence involved in it really, besides just looking at the difference between these two all-time highs and then putting it here. So it'd be interesting to see if IWM does make higher highs or if it will continue its trend since 2018 of making lower highs. So that's something I'd watch for as well. Any other question about technicals?
Could I give you a specific ticker, Brandon?
Yeah, of course.
So I know you just said you weren't really looking at anything long term, but what do you think about McDonald's?
I got this pulled up. I'm gonna take this off. I mean, I think longer term McDonald's is really good. Despite the fact that if we drop with everything like we did in March, I mean, obviously everything's gonna come down. But say we don't crash, I mean, McDonald's is a really strong company. Their business model is really good in my opinion. And I think they'll continue up. Like, I have shares of McDonald's in my long-term portfolio. And for a longer play, if you want to grab leap calls, and if you are not, I mean, you've got to take in consideration again that the market as a whole comes down, which will affect McDonald's directly. So you have to be like okay with the possibility of that happening, but without looking at technicals, because I don't believe that taking leap calls technicals, it's more fundamentally just it's a strong company, and I would say they'd be good with that. They haven't yet hit all-time highs, and you can see the past 2 weeks this was again a rotation. One of the sectors, or not sectors, but it was one of the stocks that was rotated into heavily over the past week, moved up about 16 points. So I would watch this. I mean, I'd say it's good to get long-term calls on, to be honest.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'll give you another one if you want.
Yeah, of course. What is it?
How about Lowe's? It's on a tear and it just won't stop. LOW.
LOW. Oh my God.
I want to get in, but then I'm like, when?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I haven't even. Yeah, that's kind of insane, to be honest. What the hell? What has Lowe's been doing that's been making them go up so much?
Honestly, Home Depot's been pretty good too.
Yeah, a lot of people have been hopping off with home projects. I know my dad built a fucking shed. His neighbors, same shit. A lot of people been doing.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, they'll try to become fucking handyman.
Yeah, this thing.
Nothing else to do around the house.
Facts,
Please remember Lowe's.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. This is like the type of stock though that when you enter, it's just gonna go straight down.
Yeah, everyone's spending all that unemployment money on fucking parts for their house.
Yeah. Yeah,
dude, you know what else is a similar chart?
What?
Logitech, same thing.
Jesus. Wow.
Because I've had them on my
selling a lot of
for the last
computer
couple
mice, I
weeks, and I
guess.
just like can't get an entry.
Yeah, I mean, just a stock with this, you just want to wait for a pullback to resistance and just enter, like a long out, like a month out contracts, really.
Okay.
I feel like this is what MA used to look like before coronavirus. This used to be a really solid stock. This and Visa, just going straight up. My Visa chart's insane.
Yo, Brandon.
What's up?
So Lowe's has their earnings next week. I feel like they can be a run up until like earnings.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that too. There's also volume.
Yeah.
Volume's increasing as well.
How's volatility?
Yeah, no,
for the,
volatility is pretty good. 38. I mean, look, volatility is very low for all stocks right now, just because the percentiles compared to March, which was like crazy high, so it's automatically going to be low. But I would say this is pretty good, to be honest. You can also go, I can pull it up here.
I just wondered if it was too late to play the run up or not.
Oh no, this only has 20% volatility or IV percentile, so I wouldn't say that's bad. So when did they report? 8/19. No, I think you may be good. You just gotta, just set tight stop losses.
Yeah, sounds good.
I would wait for a pullback. Yeah, I would wait for a pullback to its longer term resistance line. I mean, this thing, you could probably even go like weeklies. My God. Yeah. Only thing I would say though is expectations may be pretty high with just how much the stock has been running lately. But, yeah.
That's a good point though.
No, yeah, I like how it's looking though.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. Any other stocks? Any other questions?
What the fuck's going on with Square?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Square, to be honest. It's just rotational. I would just say honestly, just because it's financial. It's been running up a ton. How did they do for earnings? I didn't have.
They killed it. Absolutely fucking smashed.
Yeah.
I think they were up. They went 135 to 155.
Yeah, I didn't have power at the time, so.
Yeah, that was the night that your power went out. I texted you about it.
Yeah,
just
you did.
I thought you had played
Yeah,
it.
their earnings leaked a day early.
Yeah, I heard that. That was
Yeah.
funny. Look, they look like they just retraced back to they had to fill the gap down after earnings, and now they have like a spinning top candle. This one it gapped up a little bit, but it finished red. I mean, they're a solid company. Like, I still think I think they can continue up. I really think just all these solid companies will continue until the market makes a major move down. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. Any other ones? No other questions?
I think we're probably good. If you guys want to DM any of us, myself or Brandon, any questions that you might have that you didn't want to maybe ask over the call, or maybe you're still unsure, feel free to do so.
Yeah, for sure. DM me, DM Bando. You can DM either of us if you have any questions. I'd love to answer.
But yeah, thanks guys for listening along. We'll try to do this every week for you guys if it's something that you guys enjoyed, found beneficial. So hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank
you.
All right,
See you guys tomorrow.
man. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, boys.